All right, let's dive right in. Have you ever felt like you're just stuck on a treadmill? You're running faster than everyone else, putting in all the hours, making all the sacrifices, but somehow you're still falling behind. The results just don't seem to match the effort. It's a really frustrating and honestly an exhausting place to be.
Maybe you're the first person in the office and the last one to leave, but you watch a coworker who works half your hours get that promotion. Or maybe you're just completely burnt out, you're running on fumes, and you're wondering, why isn't all this relentless effort getting me where I want to go? If any of that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And more importantly, you're not wrong to feel that way.
Because here's the thing, the problem probably isn't your lack of effort. The problem is your strategy. We're going to explore this whole idea through a simple but really powerful story about a farmer named Thomas, a guy who almost destroyed his life by working too hard, until one single conversation taught him the massive difference between just being in motion and actually making progress.
So let's meet our farmer, Thomas. He inherited a pretty modest farm, and he lived his life by one single, unwavering belief: that hard work is the only honest way to get things done. This guy woke up at 4 a.m., he worked with his bare hands, and he wore his exhaustion like it was a badge of honor. To him, suffering basically equaled success.
But this created a huge paradox. Right next door to Thomas lived another farmer, Richard. Same age, same size farm. But just look at this difference. While Thomas was grinding himself into the ground for 15 hours a day for mediocre results, Richard was working just 6 hours a day, using modern systems and, get this, producing double the harvest. This fact absolutely haunted Thomas. It was this visible, everyday proof that his entire life's philosophy might be completely flawed.
And the cost wasn't just financial, it was deeply personal. His wife Sarah saw the toll it was taking. She saw him just collapsing at night, too tired to eat, too tired to even connect with her. Her words were a warning, right? But it was a warning that Thomas, who was so trapped in his more effort mindset, just couldn't hear yet.
And then the breaking point arrived. A brutal drought hit the valley. And what was Thomas's solution? You guessed it, more hard work. He started his day even earlier, he carried more water, pushing his body to its absolute limit. He kept repeating hard work never fails, like a mantra, right up until the moment it did. He collapsed, and the doctor's warning? It was terrifyingly clear. His strategy was literally killing him.
Lying there, defeated not by the drought but by his own methods, Thomas had this incredibly painful realization. He had done everything he thought was right. He'd sacrificed absolutely everything. So why was he failing? For the very first time, he let himself think that maybe, just maybe, hard work wasn't the only answer.
So this moment of total defeat, it was also a moment of opportunity. When he was finally strong enough to walk again, he did something his pride had never, ever allowed him to do before. He walked over to his successful neighbor Richard, and he asked for help. And what Richard told him, well, it would change everything.
You see, Richard didn't just give him advice, he gave him this powerful metaphor. He described two woodcutters. One swings his axe relentlessly, but it's dull. He gets exhausted and makes very little progress. The other one stops every so often to sharpen his axe, and he ends up cutting down twice as many trees. And then came the line that hit Thomas like a ton of bricks. You are the first woodcutter.
And this difference is just so crucial. Thomas, with his dull axe, was focused on effort, on motion, on just being busy. And the result was exhaustion. Richard, with his sharp axe, was focused on strategy, on progress, on being effective. The result was leverage and success. This isn't about being lazy, it's about being smart.
Okay, so what does it actually mean to sharpen your axe? Richard didn't just leave Thomas with a cool story. He walked him through his own farm and laid out a really practical 3-part framework for working smarter, not harder.
And here they are. These are 3 principles you can apply to your own life starting today. First, systems over effort. Second, focus over hustle. And third, and this is a big one, understanding that rest is a strategy. Let's break each of these down.
First up, systems over effort. Richard's philosophy here was simple. Don't carry water in buckets if you can build a pipeline. He had invested time and money one time into a drip irrigation system. That system did the same job in 10 minutes that took Thomas 6 agonizing hours of manual labor every single day. He made a smart investment once to create a system that saved him thousands of hours later.
The second principle builds right on top of this: focus over hustle. You see, Thomas was spreading his attention way too thin across 5 different crops, and because of that, he was mediocre at all of them. Richard, he grew only 2 crops, the 2 that thrived in their particular soil. He achieved mastery and excellence, while Thomas was just stuck in mediocrity. The lesson here is to identify what creates the most value and then do that thing exceptionally well.
And finally, we have the third principle, which is probably the most counterintuitive one for us hard workers. Rest is a strategy. Richard totally understood that a tired mind can't think straight. It makes expensive, costly mistakes. A rested mind, though, that's where creativity lives. It spots opportunities. It innovates. Rest is not a sign of weakness. It is the essential maintenance your brain needs to perform at its peak.
So, Thomas went home with a new mind and a whole new mission. He stopped just doing the work and started thinking about the work. He put Richard's principles into action and, well, the results were nothing short of transformative.
In the very next harvest, Thomas's farm produced 40% more than his previous best year, ever. I mean, that single number says it all, doesn't it? More output built on a foundation of strategy, not just sweat.
I mean, look at this. The change was just so stark. With his old 15-hour days, he was producing less. With his new, smarter 7-hour days, his output skyrocketed. He wasn't just healthier and happier, he was objectively more successful, all while working less than half the time. It's incredible.
So, what does this all boil down to? It's what we call smart work. It's not about avoiding hard work. It's about applying that work intelligently. It's using your mind to create leverage so your effort goes so much further. It really is the difference between simply being in motion and making real, tangible progress. And that brings the challenge right back to you. I want you to look at your week. Find that one task, the one that drains the most time and energy for the least reward. Your version of carrying those water buckets. And then ask yourself, is there a smarter way? Is there a system I could build, a tool I could use, a process I could change? Just take one afternoon to sharpen your axe on that one thing.
Because here's the crucial takeaway from Thomas's journey, and it's the one I really want to leave you with. You are not a machine that's designed to run until it breaks. You are a human, with a mind that is capable of creating incredible leverage. So stop swinging that dull axe. Because when it all comes down to it, strategy beats exhaustion. Every single